Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to another episode of Funday Sunday, and I am actually back. Surprise, yes, I'm back. A few of you may have noticed there weren't a lot of videos last week. That's because I was currently working on a final project of mine, and that took up the majority of my nights. So I didn't really have time to record, but I'm finally finished with it, and now I can actually get back to it. So, what do we have here today? We have actually a very amusing battle. This is the Weird Out. I've actually showed him off. The reason why I had to actually look at his name is his YouTube channel name is different from obviously this. So he sent in this replay to me. This is obviously a clan battle, and yes, I know clan battles is out, and I generally go over it every single year, but this one's actually kind of amusing. So, as you can see, this is actually on the Asian server. And with this clan seasons, different servers can actually fight against other servers, as long as it's in the allotted time. So that is the major difference right now with clan battles. And the meta's changed even more. So it's actually really interesting seeing a different server, how they play. And boy, this enemy team makes some very interesting decision. Now, for at least the NA server, I'm not gonna say everyone does this. For the most part, there's a lot of Henrys, and especially on this mode, Henrys generally go out west. Not saying that's always the case, but it's usually the runners moving out west, while the ships that kind of hold their ground, like the Moskva and the Des Moines, generally go towards sea. But this team, as you can kind of start to see, is doing a straight push, nowhere going towards sea. And keep in mind, the enemy team only has one destroyer. The Weird Out team has two destroyers. So, granted, they have far more spotting power over the enemy team. They don't have as much firepower overall. Now, there's a couple things I'm going to be pointing out that I think probably could have done a little bit differently. So right now, as you can probably guess, enemy team is starting to push around. They're currently being raided. There's a Minotaur, a Worcester, a Des Moines, and a Salem, and a Henry. Actually, I believe that Des Moines is technically only a Salem. And a Henry. And this Henry picks the worst way to push in. And the team, I don't fully understand. I don't agree with this tactic, because this straight up could be powerful if probably done a little bit differently. Having like the Henry push further out east, having the destroyer, yeah, probably pushing a little bit further out west. I meant west. But this push is just interesting. Now, there's the enemy daring. Is the only destroyer on the enemy team. This is one thing I don't agree with. Now, granted, the gearing on the friendly team is, for the most part, has to be careful, because there's a Worcester, a Salem, and probably a Minotaur with radar. So obviously there's a lot of radar, and so they do have to be careful of being obviously spotted. But this daring lives for far too long, and granted, he's not doing a huge chunk of damage every single time, but he is doing damage almost no matter what. And the enemy team has already lost the Worcester, so they're already down a ship. And for the most part, I believe the one who's taken the most amount of damage is our Moskva friendly here. He pretty much got hit at the very beginning and has been essentially holding back the enemy team. And once again, this Henry, I do not know. Now, the Minotaur dropped torpedoes. The Henry is dropping torpedoes, but this Henry is showing so much broadside, and yet somehow gets away with it. Obviously did drop torpedoes, so that is why Weird is slowing up and obviously going to be pulling forward. Now, there is a funny moment in this battle, and it is going to be quite obvious here in a little bit, But once again, I think the fact right now that the Daring is able to kind of open gunboat for so long is really kind of an issue that probably could have been done a little bit differently. Now, granted, I agree with Weird's choice of target right now. Getting rid of that Henry is going to be a very important thing. If you can get rid of a powerful ship as such as the Henry, that's going to be a hugely beneficial, and he's already low on health. So he's definitely eating a lot of HE, and the enemy team has already lost 2 of their ships. They've just lost to the Minotaur with the gearing torpedoes. So, yeah, I don't really like this push, because now it's a stalemate right now. There's no real major push coming around that western side of those chain of islands. And now we see a Mosfa starting to push around, and this is actually where the funny part comes in. So, as Weird is going to finish off this Henry, the friendly team did lose their Mosfa just to the Daring's AP, and he's been a downright little crap. Gonna try to censor myself a little bit. And here's the Mosfa, and I understand what he's doing, but they're down in ships. They're down in cap points, and they're down in caps. So I don't get this. He's charging in. Obviously, Mosfa has a huge turning circle radius. Just look at this. Look at this. Look how close they are to ramming each other. And then here comes friendly torpedoes in for the kill on the Mosfa. That is hilarious to see. Oh, a fail ram, and then saves Weird from those torpedoes. Once again, right here, look at this. Look at where the gearing is. Granted, the gearing just saved Weird's ass from the enemy Des Moines, but he's not handling the gearing, and really need to be careful right there, because yeah, that's a lot of broadside. Salem was able to get that shot off, and whenever taking on another Salem, keep an eye on Weird's guns. They'll almost always get knocked out every little bit. Not both of them, but at least one of them. So I highly recommend, when you're in a battle like this where the angles isn't particularly great, aim for the guns. Get rid of the guns. Obviously, it's less likely to do a lot of damage to you. So that is a far better target, because any moment now, Weird is actually going to lose one of his guns again. And these shells have very good armor penetration. So there, he just lost his forward gun. Salem's obviously pushing forward, trying to get around his broadside, and almost takes him out. But obviously, Salem is just like the Des Moines and has that very, very high citadel. But once again, Daring's alive, and Daring just took out the Republic too, and he takes out Weird. So I think that Daring lived for too long. Granted, they are going to win. They have all 3 caps. They just took out the last destroyer, the only destroyer, and all that's left is the Yamato, and the Hakaym is just pummeling away. So obviously this is going to be a victory for them, but I think there were a few things that could have been done a little bit different. I know hindsight's 20/20, but I really think that it could have been done a little bit differently, and they just lost their friendly gearing. Honestly, right now all they need to do is just stay alive. This Yamato's not quick enough to do anything. And also look at the health. Both the Hakaym and the friendly Des Moines have full health. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting things, but overall, very funny battle. I really did enjoy it. Thank you for sending it in, and allowing me to watch it, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as well. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for joining in and watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day, because this poor Yamato is definitely not, because he is just going to get pummeled. And once again, probably should just stay quiet. And I know I just said my outro, but I will say that I think right now, honestly, they should just stay quiet. Doing damage doesn't really grant you all that much more. But anyways, you guys have a good day. Side Gen.